And welcome into High School Sports Unlimited. Thank you for being with us for another week where we talk all high school sports all over North Georgia. I'm Jed Hickenbotham. Morgan Lee is Access NorthGA.com's sports editor, the best dang editor we have. As we wind things down in the football season, we have 2 weeks left to go. One for most folks, I guess, it's the regular season finale this Friday, and then you have, of course, the region as far as the playing games. That's what I'm trying to come up with. Is that right? Is that pretty much how it works for everybody around town?
There's a lot of region championships to come next week, although 8-4A and 8A don't have that, so they're on regular 10-game schedules.
Okay, there you go. So, but everybody is kind of posturing, getting ready. What you want to do is get one of those top 3 spots in the sub-regions if you are playing for that crossover game in week number 10. All right, a lot to get to this coming week with some very important games as far as region championships, sub-region championships are concerned. But we had some big matchups this past week as well, starting with the big rivalry that's so one-sided it's unbelievable. Buford and Greater Atlanta Christian. We had this on radio. Tony Schiavone had the call.
Now the ball is outside of the 10-yard line. Actually, they're going to mark it right at the 10, so it's going to be first and goal. The handoff goes to Johnson again. Johnson around left side. 5. Touchdown, Buford. Andre Johnson, the senior, scores his second touchdown, this time from 10 yards out. And the Buford Wolves are up by a score of 13-0.
That was just the start. They were up 21-0 at the half. They go on to win 28-0. Our cameras were rolling at this one as Buford put yet another smackdown on GAC. Hey, give GAC credit, though, Morgan. They only gave up 28 points to Buford, but that Buford defense, I don't know if they came in angry or not, but they pretty much, if you look at the stats, they look like they come in angry every week.
Yeah, certainly.
Just ridiculous, man.
It's not even anger. It's just like total, complete domination because that's what they do every week. And now, granted, they did come into this game a little angry because talked to Andre Johnson, one of Buford's leading players, after the game, and he said that GAC had the nerve to jump on the B.
Why would they do that? Why does any team do that anyway? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, get hype, get live, get fly, whatever it is.
They're poking the bear in the zoo, man.
Those crazy kids. I just I can't imagine why you would ever on God's green earth want to make Buford mad. It's kind of like, the Incredible Hulk. You won't like me when I'm angry sort of thing. And no, it's just it was just an ugly game for GAC's offense against that Buford defense. I mean, some of the absolute just crushing hits that were being laid out on Friday night. I mean, it was, we've said many times that Buford looks like a small college team. Their defense hits like a college team. It was ridiculous.
Unbelievable. I'm gonna it's usually Buford that has my favorite stat of the week. I'm gonna try to say this one so people understand. GAC had as many total yards, or less than double the yards of points that they average. I'm not saying that right. GAC averaged almost 47 points a game, and they got 93 yards in the game.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad offense by any stretch of the imagination. I think we'll hear Coach Simpson in just a few minutes say that, that's a team that's going to win some games in the playoffs, and they couldn't do a thing against Buford's defense. They might get a couple of yards here and there, but as soon as they start to get some momentum, Buford would just step up and lay the smack down again.
Well, let's hear from head coach Jess Simpson, because Morgan got to talk to him after the game, after their big 28-0 win against their rival GAC.
At the offices of
Well, Coach, congratulations on another win. Tonight really just looked like pure Buford football out there. Talk about the game and how it played out.
It was that's good old-fashioned football. We were as physical as we've been in a long time tonight. I thought our kids were as prepared. We hadn't had an emotional peak in a long time. Being senior night, I couldn't be happier for these guys in this senior class. There's something else. But you know what? We played unbelievable defense. We were really solid in the kicking game, and we ran the football. We beat a good football team tonight, and that's a team that's going to win some playoff games.
Absolutely. I mean, GAC came in scoring a lot of points, and you shut them down for the most part. How well are you playing defensively and as a team right now?
Well, tonight we played great. That's not going to mean anything next week. But tonight, I tell you what, these boys did one heck of a job against an offense that has scored and averaged a bunch of points and had a lot of playmakers.
I know, obviously, you got a week off and then the region championship game. game. Are you going to be at Blessed Trinity, or are they going to be coming up here? I know it's not.
The region playing game will be on the other sub-region side. So if it indeed is Blessed Trinity, whoever we're playing from that side will travel to their place.
You take a week off. I mean, I guess there's not a whole lot to improve on necessarily, but what do you want to work on that week off?
Well, there'll be a lot to work on. I mean, coaches, we're going to watch this tape. We'll find a bunch that we can improve on. But you know what? We're going to worry about that this weekend, and tonight we're going to enjoy this effort.
And if you're watching this on AccessNorthGA.com, a couple of fashion things. First of all, Coach Simpson rocking the white jacket a la Gene Chizik. Don't understand that. And the gold jerseys, man.
He is an Auburn grad.
There you go. See, he's doing. I don't know if he's doing that on purpose or not. And then the gold jerseys. Buford is known for those green jerseys. They came out with those gold jerseys. You said Coach Simpson seemed to like them, huh?
Yeah. After the game, when he was talking to the team in the huddle, he was like, "How about those gold jerseys, boys? They look pretty sharp." And I agree. I thought they were pretty snazzy.
They didn't look bad. I kind of like the Buford green a little bit, but that's all right. To each his own. And if the kids like them and they go out and hold a team like GAC, the number 3 team in the state, by the way, to 93 total yards, they can wear whatever they want. All right, we'll get more about Buford later on in the show. All right, another game, and a little bit of a surprising one. Franklin County comes into the Brickyard and takes care of North Hall. 54-37 was the final. We had this one on radio as well.
They will hand it off. Pulliam up the middle. There he goes. He's loose. To the 30, to the 20. Pulliam's gone. Touchdown, Franklin County on 3rd and 17. The big fullback hurts him again.
That's yours truly going crazy. Sean Pulliam, unbelievable game. 19 carries, 338 yards on the ground. He averages over 17 yards every time he touched the ball. They couldn't stop him, and it was a lot of Pulliam, but it was a lot of Franklin County came in, and they beat North Hall at their own game and pushed them around.
Well, Franklin County had been, their offense for the past 3-4 weeks had really been putting up some numbers and giving opposing defenses fits. And talked to Coach Christmas, coming into the game, and he was worried about this game. He knew that Franklin County had a good offense, that option offense. It's hard to stop, and he was proven right, because obviously Franklin County just ran all over the place. I mean, I haven't seen Franklin County play yet, but the Pulliam kid obviously had an incredible night, and they've got a quarterback who can get it done. They've got another running back who can get it done, and all of a sudden now they're sitting there tied for second place in the sub-region. And they started 1-4.
Yeah, exactly. And they have they're kind of sitting pretty right now as far as getting themselves with a chance to make the playoffs. Franklin County runs that triple option, and they always say, you talk to any coach and they say first thing you got to do is stop the fullback dive. That's what they didn't stop, and Pulliam just kind of ran wild in that one. 576 total yards against the North Hall defense. Wow,
that's crazy. I just talked to Franklin County's coach Tommy Welch earlier. And I asked him, "Can you expect that kind of performance from Pulliam? On every Friday night?" And he was like, "Well, I don't know. You can expect that kind of performance from anybody on any Friday night." It was pretty incredible. But he's obviously got that ability. And as we said, Franklin County now sitting there tied for second. There's a chance they could finish tied for first, depending on what happens. This coming Friday night. But regardless of what happens Friday night, as you said, they're now in a position to, at the very least, play for the playoffs in week, I guess coming up week 11.
Yeah, give Franklin County a lot of credit. Amani Cross got 230 yards on the ground and scored 4 touchdowns, but really at times they kind of held him at bay. I mean, 24 carries it took to get 230 yards. Still, this kind of obnoxious Amani Cross numbers, but they tackled him. They got him in the backfield. They held him to more 2 or 3 yard carries than I've seen the entire season. We've done several North Hall games this year, but man, give them credit, because Amani Cross did not go for too many yards in the first half of that game.
Yeah, it sounds kind of crazy to say they only got 240 yards on 24 carries or whatever, but it's when you got those yards, I think, as you pointed out, that makes the biggest difference. When North Hall got behind that quickly, that early, that's not an offense that can just throw up big points really quickly.
Yeah.
If you can slow down Amani from those big runs.
Exactly. Franklin County was able to do it, and they are sitting pretty nice right now as far as trying to make the playoffs. All right, coming up, Flowery Branch had to sweat a little bit. Banks County keeps on rolling. That's right, Banks County keeps on rolling. More after this. High School Sports Unlimited rolling on.
At the offices of Dr. Norman Peets, DDS on Green Street in Gainesville, patients have all their general dentistry needs explained. Ask about sedation dentistry. Dr. Peets' team of professionals puts you at ease. Dedicated, experienced, professional. He's Gainesville's family dentist. Dr. Norman Peets, 615 Green Street in Gainesville.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Ron Wilson. At Wilson Orthodontics, we've helped thousands of people just like you get that perfect, healthy smile they've always dreamed of. And we do that by using state-of-the-art orthodontic technology. Children and adults love our exciting Georgia Bulldogs game room.
Come in and experience the atmosphere.
Our team is the best around, and they treat all our patients like they're part of the family.
They were so nice to me.
Call us today to schedule your free consultation, and I look forward to seeing you here soon.
High School Sports Unlimited. We have been on the air for about a year now, and throughout this football season, we have continued to broadcast 6 p.m. Thursday night and 3 p.m. Friday afternoon on 1240 ESPN Radio, and you can check it out on AccessNorthGA.com from Wednesday on through the rest of the week on the blue access page on AccessNorthGA.com on demand. And you can find us every single week. Morgan and myself just sweating and working hard, baby. All right, we got a lot more games to get to. We'll get to some previews as well for the upcoming games. And we got your Gainesville JC's Player of the Week. Love that segue. Banks County. There you go. There's your hint for who the Gainesville JC's Player of the Week is this week. Banks County gets another win. They beat Fannin County 42-21. And congratulations to Banks. They're on their way to the Region 8AA championship game, right?
And the state playoffs as no worse than the number 2 seed.
And a home game, right, in the first round?
It's pretty impressive for a program that hasn't hosted a state playoff game, I think, since 1997. It was a huge win for a Banks County team that has just been slowly and steadily building and getting better and better each week. And right now, they are certainly the cream of the crop in 8AA North. And they've got to make sure, they want to make sure that they finish out the sub-region undefeated this weekend against East Hall. But there's a lot of excitement at Homer these days.
I would say so, most definitely. And Dean Ewing doing the job. 29 rushes, 209 yards, and a couple of touchdowns, kind of leading that offense. Quarterback Tyler Hubbard had a good game as well. But, boy, Banks County is right there. 42-21 against a pretty good Fannin County team. Meanwhile, East Hall has kind of backed themselves into a corner, haven't they? I mean, they get blown out by Dawson County. 49-7 was the final in this one. 7 turnovers for the Vikings in the game. You can't win with 7 turnovers.
No, absolutely. That's I think they now have 11 turnovers in their past 2 games, both of which are losses. So, I mean, that tells you all you need to know right there. They're a little bit in a corner. They can fight their way out this weekend with if they're able to knock off Banks County. Or if Fannin County loses, they're still going to be in that position to play for a playoff spot. So certainly, the simple thing is just to take care of their own business, and they don't have to worry about anything. They'll just, they'll be in that position to play for the playoffs. But they've still got a chance, even if they don't win, that they could be in that playing game.
It's a lonely feeling, isn't it? When you have to look at the scoreboard, you got to get some help. East Hall does not want to be in that situation.
No, you don't want to be sitting there, hoping for somebody else to help you out.
Exactly. So East Hall with a big game against Banks County. That one's going to be on radio. We'll tell you more about it coming up. All right, our cameras were rolling as Flowery Branch took on Loganville in a game. After that Heritage game, you're thinking, all right, Falcons are going to come in and just blow out Loganville. Hey, Loganville played really well in this one. 49-21, the final ends up being another Falcon blowout, but this thing was pretty close into the second half.
Yeah, Loganville really put some hurt on Flowery Branch's defense early. Flowery Branch was missing one of their starters in the defensive secondary. Jeremy James, the safety, missed the game. And he apparently that made a big difference. Just talking to Coach Shaw, because he makes a lot of calls for the secondary, and there was some confusion early on for that team. And once they got in at halftime, they kind of made some adjustments. He said simplified some things. They started playing a lot better, and Flowery Branch is just a better team than Loganville, and it ended up showing on the scoreboard.
Yeah, absolutely, it really did. Candler Coker, what a night for him! 7 total touchdowns, 4 rushing. 3 throwing, 15 to 22 through the air for 221 yards. Jeremy Haley, another solid effort on the ground. He ends up with 138 rushing yards on 15 carries. In Flowery Branch, they score 3 unanswered touchdowns second half and really put this game away. So Flowery Branch remains undefeated. They remain number 3 in the state in 4A. They just roll right merrily along. They have a big matchup coming up. Not this Friday, but next Friday we'll tell you more about that one on the way. Gainesville goes into Walnut Grove. They knew it was on the line, a chance to win their sub-region, and they take care of business at Walnut Grove. This game was on the radio as well. Joel Williams with the call.
Harrison came in from the near side. Fake to him. They go down, trying to find Mason. He's got a touchdown run, Elephants. Stephen Mason, a 46-yard touchdown pass from Watson to Mason on the money, and he was double-teamed.
Yep, down there in Monroe, you got to use a cell phone to broadcast. That's perfectly fine. Joel Williams got excited, and some more big plays for Gainesville. They TCB, buddy. They took care of Walnut Grove 48-0.
Yeah, you come into a game like that, and you as a coach, you kind of always got to have in the back of your mind, are my kids going to be focused? Are they going to be ready? Walnut Grove's a better team than they were last year, but they're still in no way, shape, or form a match for Gainesville when Gainesville's, as you said, taking care of business. And especially with that sub-region championship hanging on the line, I think Gainesville was not about to, go in there and fiddle fart around. They were gonna lay the wood, and they did. And now they've got a chance to play for a fourth straight region title.
I think that's the team motto. Don't fiddle fart. Or at least it should be. I really like that. 48-0 Gainesville with the win. Another good game from Deshaun Watson. He goes 13 of 18 passing, 200 yards, and a couple touchdowns. And Gainesville does what they have to do to have a chance now at the region championship. Who are they going to play? No, there's no telling yet. So we'll talk more about what's going to happen this Friday and what to happen on the B side. The A side of things.
Side.
Yes, Gainesville's on the B side. I don't know why I don't call it North and South. Man, they got to change that. All right, maybe the game of the week, and we said that a lot for Habersham Central games. They have had some kind of heart stoppers throughout the season. This is another one that is hard to swallow for Hab Central fans. They lose to a good Conyers Heritage team, 45-42 the final. A field goal with less than 10 seconds to play turns out to be the difference, boy.
Yeah, taking on a Heritage team that had just one loss coming into the game, and that loss was to Flowery Branch, who's number 3 in 4A right now. And Habersham found itself down pretty early, and next thing you know, here comes Habersham again with that triple option offense, and Kevin Ellison just knocking them out, running over people, and throwing all over the place. And it ended up being 42-42 with about 3 minutes to go. But problem was that Heritage got the ball last, not quite last, but close enough to last, and kicked that field goal. What was it? 24 yards. Yeah. 24 yards, so pretty much of a chip shot, and just another heartbreaker, because that was a game that had Habersham won that, it would have set itself up beautifully to make the playoffs. Not that they're out of the race by any means at this point, but now they have got to go on the road and win this week, and it's not going to be an easy game.
Yeah, fighting and clawing all your way to the very end. Yeah, you're right. If they were able to get that win, and boy, they played really well, it would have been huge for them. Conyers Heritage just showed themselves to be a very good team. They went down to the last play, or the last real play that mattered, against Flowery Branch in last week's game as well. So Raiders are 4-4 on the year. Ellison, by the way, 227 rushing yards in the game and 3 touchdowns. And he also passed for 187 yards.
Unreal. The kid is just what he's been able to do this year. I think he's, people are always talking about, well, is he going to be, player of the year for, X publication or whatever. I think he may be player of the year for all of 4A and setting himself up for the state, because the kid's just done ridiculous things.
Unbelievable numbers for Kevin Ellison, a guy who wasn't even quarterback when he first started his high school career. All right, Jefferson got a win that they really needed. They beat Jackson County 31-14. You take a look at the stats of this game, and the offense it did what it had to do. Another pretty good game from Bryant Sheriff, 15-21 passing for 170 yards, and Jefferson really needed this win. It's been a rough second half of the year for the Dragons.
Yeah, just simply because of the way the schedule's set up. Playing North Oconee and Elbert County is not going to be a cakewalk for anybody, and and Jefferson did their best to hang with both those teams, and both of those were close finishes. So certainly they needed a win against Jackson County, and our condolences to Mr. Scott McIntyre, because it didn't work out for the Panthers, but certainly Jefferson is right now sitting pretty for one of those play-in spots, and will take on probably the number 2 seed out of the north half of 8AA.
Scotty Mack continues to wear those Jackson County stuff and the colors and everything else, so that's fine. But a rough one against Jefferson in a kind of a cross-town matchup, just a couple miles apart between the two schools. All right, hey, talk about a team that's finishing strong. Lakeview Academy, baby. They get another win. They beat Georgia Military 14-7. They've won 2 in a row in 3 of their last 4. They got it rolling over there.
Yeah, they got a chance to finish with the 4-4 record for the second straight year. And, you remember when we had Coach Gruen in here early. It seems like, years ago now.
Yeah, it does.
Before the season started, and he was talking about after last season, he was worried about just even having a program because of all the kids that were graduating off last year's team that, went 4-4, which is their best ever varsity record. And now all of a sudden they're sitting here with a chance to do it again, and that's pretty impressive.
One team I want to mention that I thought played particularly well in the first half. Didn't see the game, but just looking, I kept looking at the West Hall Monroe area score. Nothing into the second half. Give the Spartans a lot of credit. They ended up losing to Monroe area 34-0, and again it comes down to turnovers with them. But they played very hard against a good Monroe area team.
Yeah, I think most impressive is that their defense was able to more or less shut Monroe down for most of that contest, because Monroe is explosive. No matter who they've got back in that backfield, it seems that they can just dig somebody up and find a great running back over there these days. And for West Hall to be able to completely shut them down in the first half, because that's something that Gainesville couldn't even do last week. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. West Hall, I guess there's something to be taken out of a loss, and that's what you have to do. Monroe area gets the win in that one. White County puts together its best game of the season. Kind of an empty victory, though, isn't it? Because after the game, they get the bad news they can't make the playoffs.
Yeah, it stinks for the Warriors. I was talking to Drew Harris, our buddy up there at White County, and he was talking about, it's like, God, we do everything we're supposed to do, and then, Franklin County doesn't help us out by beating North Hall. So
yeah.
It hurts, but at this point, you just want to get better every week, and I think White County is doing that with a brand new coaching staff and a lot of young kids. So a Pyrrhic victory certainly, but one that they'll be, I think, happy to take and looking forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chestatee, they held them to just 85 total yards. A pretty good Chestatee offense. Chestatee really struggling down the stretch. All right, we'll take a break, come back. We will have your Gainesville JC's Player of the Week, and we'll take a look to these coming games for this week. High School Sports Unlimited rolls on after this.
At the offices of Dr. Norman Peets, DDS on Green Street in Gainesville, patients have all their general dentistry needs explained. Ask about sedation dentistry. Dr. Peets' team of professionals puts you at ease. Dedicated, experienced, professional. He's Gainesville's family dentist. Dr. Norman Peets, 615 Green Street in Gainesville.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Ron Wilson. At Wilson Orthodontics, we've helped thousands of people just like you get that perfect, healthy smile they've always dreamed of. And we do that by using state-of-the-art orthodontic technology. Children and adults love our exciting Georgia Bulldogs game room.
Come in and experience the atmosphere.
Our team is the best around, and they treat all our patients like they're part of the family.
They were so nice to me.
Call us today to schedule your free consultation, and I look forward to seeing you here soon.
I will not march blindly into the fluorescent light of Monday morning to a job I do not love. I will not go with the flow. I am not a carbon copy. I will visit this website before tomorrow because I refuse to work for the weekend, even if everyone is working for the weekend. Today, I will find a job that I love. Today, I will find my career happiness.
Hi folks, Butch Miller from Milton Martin Honda in Gainesville, and why you should get your next new car at Milton Martin Honda. First, a fantastic selection. We bought extra cars, so now we have the largest inventory in the area. Next, an incredibly low price. Plus, we'll give you more for your trade. Third, we'll treat you the way you like to be treated. Those three things combined, we call the Milton Martin Honda Advantage. So remember folks, if you think you can get a better deal on a better car at Milton Martin Honda in Gainesville, you got that right.
At the offices of Dr. Norman Peets, DDS on Green Street in Gainesville, patients have all their general dentistry needs explained. Ask about sedation dentistry. Dr. Peets' team of professionals puts you at ease. Dedicated, experienced, professional. He's Gainesville's family dentist. Dr. Norman Peets, 615 Green Street in Gainesville.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Ron Wilson. At Wilson Orthodontics, we've helped thousands of people just like you get that perfect, healthy smile they've always dreamed of. And we do that by using state-of-the-art orthodontic technology. Children and adults love our exciting Georgia Bulldogs game room.
Come in and experience the atmosphere.
Our team is the best around, and they treat all our patients like they're part of the family.
They were so nice to me.
Call us today to schedule your free consultation, and I look forward to seeing you here soon.
All right, welcome back to High School Sports Unlimited. You can find us on 1240 ESPN Radio, 6 p.m. Thursday, 3 p.m. Friday, or on AccessNorthGA.com, the on-demand little blue tab at the top of AccessNorthGA.com, or just read any of Morgan Lee's sterling articles, or at least one of them.
Be careful just clicking on any old blue tab. It's only our blue tab that you can trust.
Yeah, we're the only blue tab you can trust. Sounds like a drug commercial or something. All right, we will have the previews of the games coming up this week. Some very major battles as far as sub-region play is concerned. Teams really battling to try to get themselves in playoff contention. But before we get to that, we do it every week. It's your Gainesville JC's Player of the Week. We are headed to Banks County. Actually, I didn't do anything. Morgan Lee drove up to Homer, Georgia. Dean Ewing, the running back for Banks County, their big 42-21 win against Fannin County. He rushed 29 times, 209 yards, 2 touchdowns. Dean Ewing and the Banks County Leopards are all there to get the award.
And this week, due to his efforts in last week's win, we have named Dean Ewing the national. All right, we're here with Dean Ewing from Banks County High School. Dean, I know obviously coming into this season, new coaching staff, a lot of changes. Y'all have had an incredible season, though. Kind of talk about the season in general and what your expectations were coming into this year.
All right, we come into spring practice. We had these new coaches. Everybody just gave it all they got. Nobody was sad about the coaches leaving. Everybody was pretty pumped about all these new coaches trying to show out. And we coming in. Defense. It was we're really focusing on defense over spring practice, and they're crazy. I mean, they're doing great this season. They're giving the offense the ball. They're giving many chances. They're blocking punts, blocking field goals, doing great. You know, the O-line, they picked it up. You know, they're great. They got this little thing they run around saying it's a hog nation. So they like that, but really I'm gonna give it. And I got a fullback, Tanner Thompson. Man, he's a little bulldog. He don't care who's in front of him. He's just gonna run. And we made it to the playoffs, man. We're excited about that. We got East Hall this Friday. We're gonna try to be undefeated. We're gonna go undefeated. That hadn't been done in a long time around here. We'll go compete for the region championship, and then we'll worry about the playoff road ahead.
Absolutely. Talk about yourself. I mean, you were a kid that, you know, you played a little bit more receiver, I guess, under the previous regime. You came in, they identified you as a tailback right away. Talk about, you know, how hard it was to get used to the position.
Oh, it wasn't hard. Actually, when I got into high school, that's when that's when I started playing a lot of slot receiver and outside receiver. But I played a little bit of running back. I was back up last year and everything behind Dylan Lackey. I was behind him. He was a great guy. And but this year we just come out. I trusted my line. You know, there's a bunch of seniors on there. We all played together. So I just trusted them. And like I said, me and my fullback, Tanner Thompson, we go back a little ways. So I just put all my trust in them, man. They're just leading me on the way.
Talk about the kind of style y'all like. I mean, it seems like y'all are a physical type of football team. Is that what y'all want to do? You want to grind against teams?
Yes, sir. Power football. We'll hit you, and we're just going to keep hitting you until we find them holes.
Talk about how just exciting it is right now around this program.
Gosh, it's great, man. We've been doing Banks County hasn't seen success like this in a while. It's been a while. And me, as my senior year, dude, it's great. It's just great being a part of the history that's being made right now. So
I can imagine. And then finally, you know, what do y'all have to? I mean, what's the kind of the final goal? What do y'all want to do to kind of put the cherry on top of on the icing there?
Like I said, first of all, you know, we did this thing. It's win what's important now, And right now, we're just worried about Friday, getting undefeated. We got the region championship next week. We'll worry about that when the time comes. And like I said, the playoff road ahead, we'll worry about that when it comes. But right now, it's just being undefeated in the sub-region.
All right. Well, listen, Dean, I appreciate it. Congratulations. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ewing right there. And Morgan, that might be the best presentation we've had all year, Morgan, of Gainesville JC's.
It was great. I didn't expect that at all, and I was happy to do it. It'd be really kind of cool if we had a chance to do that with everybody. But everybody runs practice a little different, and a lot of teams kind of go out piecemeal, so it's hard to get everybody together like that sometimes. But I got a charge out of it. It was fun.
For folks on radio, that was Morgan Lee in front of the team giving the award before he got to talk with Dean Ewing. I thought that was pretty cool. I'd be nervous getting up in front of the team like that. You all right there?
Yeah, I mean I've done it enough times now. It's just kind of like, well, if I stumble and say something silly, it's not the first time anybody's heard me do that. Certainly, if they've been listening to this show, they've probably they know that I'm used to kind of sticking my foot in my mouth. So it was no big deal. No big deal.
Right, there you go. Gainesville JC's Player of the Week presented by Jacobs Media. We'll have another one for next week. All right, let's get to the games coming up this week. And I don't think there are, well, I shouldn't say that actually. There are several big games that mean a lot as far as sub-region play is concerned, and teams really fighting for playoff berths. And that includes, in 4A, Habersham Central has to go on the road now to Loganville. We'll start with that game. This one's going to be at Red Devil Stadium in Loganville, 7:30 kickoff. And Hab Central, because of what happened last week, barely losing to a very good Heritage team. But the fact they lost that game, now they're kind of behind the 8 ball and got to win on the road.
Yeah, if they lose this game, I don't want to say that they're totally out, but they're more or less out of the playoff run. And I think the Salem Flowery Branch game will have a little bit of bearing on this game. But essentially, if Habersham Central loses to Loganville head-to-head, then the best they could hope to finish would be 5-5, and if Loganville finishes 5-5, they would have that head-to-head over the Raiders, and that would take the Raiders out of the playoff running. So must win game for Habersham Central to get back in the playoffs for the first time in a few years.
Not to put you on the spot, okay. So, but you have Flowery Branch and you have Heritage. You have Clark Central and you have Heritage. Those are the top three. Is that right?
Yeah. Flowery Branch is sitting by themselves at 8-0, and then Clark Central and Heritage both have one loss. Heritage beat Clark Central head-to-head, so technically they're ahead of Clark Central. And then you've got three teams fighting for that final playoff spot in Hab Central, Loganville, and Salem.
Okay. All right, there you go. So it's kind of a log jam, so Hab Central really needs to get the win. It'd be kind of a shame if Hab Central doesn't make the playoffs for a lot of different reasons. Mainly they played so many close games, and they lost some of those that came down right at the last minute. It'd be a shame not to see Kevin Ellison in the playoffs.
Yeah, that kid deserves that kind of spotlight for the way he's played this season. And that entire offense, really. I mean, his offensive line, his receivers, Zach Franks, the fullback Patrick Burns, that is a really, really good offense. And I think a lot of people would love to see them get into the playoffs just to see what they could do.
Yeah, absolutely. The game last year, Loganville won at 42-24. Hab Central, though, leads the overall series 5-4, but they have to go to Loganville, to Red Devil Stadium, and try to get a win in Loganville. All right, another very interesting situation is on Sub-Region A in Region 8 AAA, and let's kind of break this one down. You got 3 teams fighting for 2 spots. Pretty much. Is that right?
No, 3 fighting for 3.
For 3,
yeah. The proper order is the big question.
Who's going to go on the road and probably face Monroe area,
okay,
I guess, right?
We ready to cross people's eyes here? All right.
Yeah, let's go for it.
There are 3 teams, Stevens County, North Hall, and Franklin County, that are all battling for those 3 play-in spots. Stevens County has the simplest and easiest path to the sub-region title, as in they win on Friday, they're in, they're done, they're playing games for the 8 AAA title. Now, North Hall can get there if they beat Stevens and Franklin County loses to White County. Mm-hmm. Franklin County is pretty much out of the running, I do believe, because of the tiebreakers, in that even if Franklin County wins and North Hall wins and all 3 of those teams are sitting there with 1 loss, because of the second tiebreaker, which I do believe is, or the third tiebreaker actually, which is versus teams in your region games, not your sub-region games, but basically your crossover region games. Stevens County's 2-0 in those games. North Hall and Franklin County are both 1-1 in those games.
Okay.
So I think regardless of what happens, Franklin County, the best they can finish is second in the sub-region. And if it ends up in a 3-way tie, then North Hall finishes third, because Franklin County would have the head-to-head over North Hall.
I got that. You get that? That pretty much makes sense. No, it does actually. Basically, it's Stevens County is totally in the driver's seat. If North Hall were to get it, they would have to do it and need a lot of help from White County as well tonight.
Yeah, and White County is a capable team, but you don't want to have your destiny in somebody else's hands.
No, yeah, you're exactly right. All right, let's break down these two games. You got Stevens County going to the Brickyard against a North Hall team where, quite frankly, I don't know what to expect on Friday. I have no idea. We're going to have this game on radio. But, I mean, I totally expected it, and nothing against Franklin County. I thought North Hall was going to come into that game last week the way they did against Lumpkin, hit them right in the mouth and take control. It didn't happen. So now North Hall, now we kind of get to see what the Trojans are kind of made of here because they're going up against a very good Stevens County team.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 weeks ago I wrote that North Hall and Stevens were on a collision course, and with those two big running backs, and I offered Franklin County a sincere apology. They really kind of showed up and took the air out of well, not all the air, but took some of the air out of this game. That being said, this is still going to be a great game. I'm so excited about seeing Amani Cross face off against Chaz Thornton from Stevens
you're taking
County.
This game, huh? You're going, huh?
Well, it might be.
No, when you have two running backs like that, Amani Cross and Chaz Thornton, oh my goodness. I think you're going to see some big plays. And we saw them last year. 43-37 was the final last year. A lot of offense last year.
Yeah, I got a chance to listen to that game and listen to you try to keep up with it. I know you were probably about breathless by the end of that game. It seemed like every time somebody took a handoff, there was a 50-yard touchdown run or better. And I don't think that it's going to be quite as wild this go around. I think it could be as close, but I think that the defenses are a little bit better. So maybe not quite as high scoring, but I definitely see it as close a game this time.
One thing about the end of that North Hall Franklin County game in the fourth quarter, they pretty much had the Wildcat out there, whatever they call it, with Amani Cross. It was effective.
Yeah.
It worked. I mean, you had a lot of guys blocking for one guy, and it worked very well. You're not going to do it the whole game, obviously. And Amani he just looked totally wiped out by the end of that thing. But, if need be, he could do it because North Hall is kind of playing not really for their lives, but, you don't want to be that number 3 seed.
No, you don't want to end up number 3. And I mean, the way 8 AAA does it, they'll be playing I guess the number 3 from the other side. I can't remember if it's number 3 or number 2. I need to go back and make sure on that. But, you don't want to be playing with a chance to not be there. It's much better if you're a sub-region champ and you're guaranteed no worse than a number 2 seed.
The other game, Franklin County at White County. This one, Franklin has to go on the road too. It worked pretty well for them last week at North Hall, but again, I don't know what to expect out of this one. Franklin has really come on strong, but White County looked good against Chestatee last week too.
They did, and as we've said, White County is kind of been a team that's been on the cusp all season. They've been able to move the ball on people. They've had some big plays, but they've hurt themselves with turnovers and with penalties. And if they can kind of put those, in the past and get over that, I think that they can play with just about anybody in this region. And certainly Franklin County is going to be hyped up and ready to go. But you got to worry if they're going to maybe be overlooking a team that's you sit and look at the record and say, 2-6, we should beat these guys. But 2-6, I don't think really tells the story of White County season.
This is as good and as interesting a matchup as I can remember against a 4-4 team and a 2-6 team.
Yeah, it's what the region play-in games do for you.
That's exactly right. Sean Pulliam, watch out for that kid. I don't know. He might be tired going into Friday's game after all the running he did against North Hall, but one outstanding individual effort by Pulliam. And, it was individual effort with him getting the yards, but really the team did it. And Franklin County is a very good football team, and they will be taking on White County. All right, we'll take a break, come back. We will get you your game coming up if we have not already. A lot of action going on Friday as the season winds down. High School Sports Unlimited rolling on after this.
At the offices of Dr. Norman Peets, DDS on Green Street in Gainesville, patients have all their general dentistry needs explained. Ask about sedation dentistry. Dr. Peets' team of professionals puts you at ease. Dedicated, experienced professional. He's Gainesville's family dentist. Dr. Norman Peets, 615 Green Street in Gainesville.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Ron Wilson. At Wilson Orthodontics, we've helped thousands of people just like you get that perfect, healthy smile they've always dreamed of. And we do that by using state-of-the-art orthodontic technology. Children and adults love our exciting Georgia Bulldogs game room.
Come in and experience the atmosphere.
Our team is the best around, and they treat all our patients like they're part of the family.
They were so nice to me.
Call us today to schedule your free consultation, and I look forward to seeing you here soon.
High School Sports Unlimited rolling on. It is week 10? Week 10 of high school football season, is that right?
Yeah, it's week 10 this week, and we've still got 2 more weeks left in the regular season, which is only supposed to be 10 games. So you tell me how that works.
I have no clue. I don't know how that works, but that's perfectly fine. All right, a lot more football previews to get to, but Buford softball is doing it again. Volleyball's it's in full swing as well, right?
Yeah, well, we finally kind of cleared the slate, as you would say, for volleyball. All the region teams are now finished for the season. Gainesville had capped a great year. They got to the quarterfinals, ended up losing to a really, really good St. Pius team this week, but no shame in that. Gainesville really had a very exciting, intense, really kind of turnaround season this year, and full credit to them for being able to get to the quarterfinals. On the softball side of things, you've got Buford. It's kind of funny. Their softball coach, Tony Wolf, and their football coach, Jess Simpson, kind of have a little, bet every year about this time, saying, all right, we're going to get another state title together.
Really?
And yeah, I mean, not a serious bet or anything like that, but just kind of, giving each other a hard time. The Buford girls are going for their 5th straight state title. The Buford football team is going for a 5th straight state title. So pretty good little 1-2 act there going in the fall for Buford, and things will heat up for them starting Thursday. They go down to Columbus for the state tournament. A really kind of an interesting tournament, just show that they put on down there in Columbus with all the teams coming in. And one of the more interesting things to see, I think, really, that the GHSA does. And Fannin County is also going to be heading down there. So going to be a very action-packed weekend. Also, you've got all the area cross-country regions are beginning their region meets or this week or this weekend. And you can expect teams like North Hall and Flowery Branch and just so many good teams in this area. I mean, Lakeview boys have really come on this year in 8A, and I think we're going to have a lot of teams running for a lot of titles in a couple weeks in Carrollton at the state meet.
Absolutely, it's not just football this time of year, and teams are really making a push. And congratulations to all of them that have made it this far. Go to accessnorthga.com, go to the high school sports page, and stay updated with everything that's going on. All right, back to the old gridiron. You got the Gainesville Red Elephants going on the road at West Hall. Gainesville is 7-1 on the year. West Hall is 2-6. You're going to see possibly some younger players for Gainesville getting in this one. I mean, the outcome doesn't necessarily mean a lot, but it's still kind of a rivalry game, right?
Certainly. I mean, you don't want to, at the very least, you don't want to be stumbling into the region title game.
Yeah.
You want to come in there feeling pretty good about yourself. So I don't think Gainesville's going to take this one lightly at all. West Hall is still in with a chance. If they can pull off a win, they can get into a play-in game, which would be huge for them. So certainly both teams have a lot to play for at this point. And as you said, I mean, it's a local game, so you expect both teams to be amped up.
That's a good point. West Hall they still have a lot to play for with that 2-2 sub-region record. Gainesville is sitting nice. It's got to feel good though to go into a game before the region championship and say, okay.
Yeah,
we could take a little bit of a breath. So,
yeah.
But Bruce Miller, I know, is not going to have his kids like that.
No, you better believe it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Monroe area is at Johnson. Monroe area 6-2 on the year. Has Monroe pretty much have they clinched the number 2 spot in the sub-region?
Yeah, they're going to finish number 2. That's a guaranteed. It looks like, I mean, just because of who's playing who. I mean, Oconee County right now is in line to finish 3rd. They're playing Walnut Grove this weekend, so that would be a major upset if they were to get beat by Walnut Grove. Could happen, which is why if you're West Hall, you still got to play to win because you don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, Monroe's going to finish 2nd for sure.
All right, there you go. So that game is at Johnson at Billy Ellis Memorial Stadium. Huge game in Rabbittown this weekend. Banks County is at East Hall. Banks is 7-1. We've given them a whole bunch today. Boy, they've had an outstanding year to this point, and they beat Fannin County last week. East Hall, using a word you said, they stumbled into this game. They're 4-4 on the year, 2-2 in the sub-region. This is pretty much a must-win game for the Vikings, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they could still lose it and get into the play-in game, but certainly you don't want to have a 3rd straight game of just kind of the turnovers and the mental mistakes. And I think East Hall is more than capable of bouncing back in this game. They've got the skill. The one thing that's hurting them lately is that they've got just a ton of injuries right now. Coach Brian Gray estimated 8 starters maybe out for this game.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, oh man. Even at that point, I mean, Brian Gray, he still can't. you talk to him every week, and he's such an honest coach.
And he's not asking for pity.
Yeah,
he's in the very same breath that he's saying 8 guys are out, he's saying, but that's football. We gotta find a way to bounce back and do the right things. And that he's preaching that to his kids, and I'm sure they're doing their absolute best. It's just again, as we've said so many times, it's tough to turn things around, when you haven't been used to being there.
Yeah, big game for the Vikings coming up. That one's going to be on radio. We'll tell you where here in just a little bit. I smell a trap game with Flowery Branch. Falcons are at home against a good Salem team that's 5-4 on the year. Flowery Branch is 8-0. They're coming off a big win against Loganville. They got that big game coming up next week. But they better not look past Salem because they don't seem to be a bad team.
No, they better not. And Salem's got some athletes, as everybody in 8-4A does. And if Flowery Branch were to look past them, they could get burned. But talking to Coach Shaw earlier today, he wasn't too concerned about his team overlooking this game just because, as he said, at this point of the season, every game has something really important riding on it. And they know, for them to achieve all their goals, as in a region championship and going undefeated in a state championship, they have got to play their best in this game to make sure that happens.
Is going to upper classifications in 4A and 5A, is this the norm where you see such athletes on every team, or is it just this one region really just stacked? Because it seems like there are a lot of good athletes in this region.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the higher you get up, the more apt you are to have every team has got at least the capability of breaking something on you. I mean, obviously there are some programs in 4A and 5A that aren't quite as good, but for the most part, the higher you go, the more athletes you can draw from, and the better you're going to be.
Go look at the scores in Region 8-4A. I mean, it's unbelievable. Just some high-powered offense between Flowery Branch. Clark Central always can score. Hab Central, I mean, they are out there in a big way. Flowery Branch, by the way, is number 3 in Class 4A. They won this game last year 40-14. Chestatee is on the road at Lumpkin County. We talked about the struggles that the War Eagles have had. They're 3-5 on the year as they go on the road to the Burial Grounds. It'd be big, I think, for Chestatee to get a win. Part of you kind of roots for them just at the way the season started with injuries. It's just kind of gone downhill, but they're going to go up and take on a Lumpkin County team that's got some pretty good athletes, namely Ian McIntosh.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a game that, like you said, I mean, you feel bad for Chestatee just because of the way things have happened. And, Scott DeGraff went out of the game again last week. And you hope the best for the kid. You hope the best for the program because, I mean, there's some really good folks up there. But, Lumpkin County is by no means going to be sitting there feeling sorry for them. They're going to want to win. And Lumpkin County is, had a disappointing sub-region season after the start that they had. But I think if they can finish this off with a victory, this week and then go into next week and possibly end up with a winning record on the season, I mean, they're not going to be satisfied. But at least they'll feel pretty good about things going forward.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I looked at that Lumpkin County team when it was taking on North Hall, and I saw a good team that just kind of got shut down against a hot North Hall team at the time. So Lumpkin's going to be at home in Dahlonega. Absolutely gorgeous setting for football up there at the Burial Grounds. All right, Dawson County is at Rabun County. Dawson 4-4 on the year. More importantly, they're 3-1 though in the sub-region. They're going on the road after that great win against East Hall. They're taking on a Rabun team that's 3-5 on the year, but has been game opponent for a lot of teams this year.
Yeah, they have. I mean, Rabun upset Fannin for the first time in a while this season, so Dawson's got to be wary. Dawson County right now is looking at wrapping up that second seed. In fact, I think they have wrapped up the second seed. They're going to be second in 8 North and take on the number 3 from 8 South. So looks like they're going to have a rematch with Jefferson, who handled them pretty good last time. So it's going to be interesting to see, but. I'm sure they're a much better team than they were last time they played Jefferson, and they're going to want to show that on Friday.
Jefferson doesn't have to go far for their game. They'll be at East Jackson. How important is this game for Jefferson? 6-2, 3-2 in the sub-region.
Again, just another game where you want to be rolling, heading into that play-in game, and facing an East Jackson team that's got that puncher's chance. They've got some game breakers back in their backfield, but not a team that has had a lot of consistency really this year.
Jefferson offense hasn't put up quite the numbers over the last few weeks that we've seen them. And again, that comes back to the competition. They did win last weekend against Jackson County 31-14. All right, as we take a look at the radio schedule for this week, tune into your game. Banks County will be at East Hall, that one in Rabbittown, and that one on AM 550 WDUN. Over on FM 102.9 WDUN, Stevens County at North Hall. What a huge game for the Trojans that one is, and really for Stevens County as well. And then you have Gainesville going on the road. They'll be in Oakwood taking on the West Hall Spartans. That one on, as usual for Gainesville fans, 1240 ESPN Radio. So you can check out the games on radio, and you can also, of course, read them on Access North, northga.com. So there you go. Am I going to see you at North Hall this weekend?
Yeah, I think I'll be there.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So our thanks to Morgan Lee. Our thanks to Mr. Scott McIntyre, Mr. Jackson County. Yes, sir. Good-looking guy. Good-looking guy. All right, that's it for us. Go enjoy your games and tune in to AccessNorthGA.com after the games on Friday and read all about them. High School Sports Unlimited is done. Talk to you next week.